We are officially 18 days into hurricane season, believe it or not. So far, our only named storm this year happened before hurricane season started officially. So I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, like myself, what we can expect to see over the next 5.5 months.
You're just kind of, a little antsy, waiting for something to happen, right? So June now into July, you're probably wondering, where do these things typically form? Well, if you got a minute, I'll show you. Let's get back to 1950. Look at all these lines here. These are all the storms that have developed in the Atlantic Basin in June since 1950. You see the concentration of most of the storms there in the Gulf of Mexico and just off the coast of the Carolinas. Well, that's typically where we expect them to develop, with those development zones there in the eastern Gulf of Mexico. And the reason why, one of the reasons that we see them develop here, is because of the warmer waters of the Gulf of Mexico. A lot of the water here in the eastern Gulf of Mexico actually already at 90 degrees. Some of the earliest that we've seen these 90-degree temperatures in the eastern Gulf of Mexico. Not the only reason though, because we still see some fronts drop in from the north, and on the southern end of that high pressure system, these stalled out frontal boundaries are a good place for a lot of thunderstorms to develop, and that ultimately could lead to tropical development. It's out in the eastern Atlantic where later in the season we typically look for development. We don't see that this time of the year because there's still quite a bit of dry air and dust coming off of Africa, and that limits development. Also, a lot of wind shear out over the central Atlantic, so we don't see a lot of that development there either. So as we go into July, still looking for development in the Gulf of Mexico, off the coast of the southeast mid-Atlantic. Also start looking to the eastern Caribbean for potential development.